Everyone, good morning. This is Dan Spots here on behalf of the Dallas Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Dallas Area Chamber Community Affairs. Today is Thursday, December 4th. Our guest will be Jeff Renard, manager at Columbia Gorge Regional Airport. And a couple of us have had some tech issues this morning, so I think the gremlins are probably at it again. It looks like Jeff has resolved his tech issue. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started with round the room, around the Brady Bunch updates. So I'm going to start with Mr. Roger Nichols.
Good morning. Thank you. Next week, well, actually on the 18th, the Gorge Commission will be voting on a whole set of propositions to the management plan to help the victims of the Rowena and Burgoyne fires. And I will be here in this spot that morning with a presentation that they did at a previous Gorge Commission meeting, which shows some of the changes, outlines some of the specific things having to do with rebuilding a house and where it can be and that sort of thing. So that'll be coming up. And I just wanted to share that yesterday at the Wasco County Commission meeting, they announced that they had received $3.5 million from the state that will go to Crestline Construction on a bid to do all of the remedial work in the Rowena fire area, do all of the cleanup after that. They've done the hazardous stuff. Now it's the everything else.
Wonderful news. That's been a big challenge for everyone there, Roger. That's good to know. Thank you. And thank you for joining on the 18th. We're going to look forward to that. Trish Neal. Trish, you are muted. Sorry about that.
Got me just ready to take a drink of coffee. I'm Trish Neal. I'm with Legal Shield. I've been with the company for over 18 years. And I work with small business owners. I'm an employee benefit specialist, and I offer legal plans for families, individuals, and small business owners.
Right. Thank you, Trish. Corliss Marsh.
Morning, everyone. Corliss Marsh here with Habitat for Humanity and the library and the senior center and the college foundation. Just an update. Habitat is having their annual bazaar this Saturday from 10 to 2 at the UCC church here in the Dalles.
Thank you, Corliss. Julie Reynolds.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Reynolds. Want to let you know that at the Discovery Center on Saturday from 11 to 3 is the Portland State Archaeology Roadshow. It's the third year it's been here. Archaeology is a little bit of a misnomer because it isn't about everything old. It's about the theme this year is art and craft. It's not a sales venue, but it's going to feature techniques for making crafts. There'll be a lot of Native people there. Food to sample. It's family friendly and it's free. So come on over from 11 to 3. It's a really interesting event.
Wow, that is cool. Julia and everyone, when we have event information like that, if you go ahead and please put some detail in the chat box as well.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Julie. Mike Wacker.
Good morning, everyone. Julie will also be there representing Fort Dalles Museum. So are you going to be there with Denise, Julie?
Denise is going to have that booth. We're going to try to sit next to each other so we can cover. But we'll both have full exhibits.
Okay. Talking about Fort Dalles Museum, I just learned a couple days ago that the county courthouse has a bunch of Christmas trees that different departments decorate. Is that true, Phil?
Yeah, I'll speak to that in a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyhow, Fort Dalles Museum is going to have a tree there, and Bob and Sue Pollock put it together, and it's going to be the history of Santa Claus. So they found a bunch of very old ornaments and a short blurb on the history of Santa Claus. And also the Dalles Kiwanis Club just had a wonderful Santa's workshop with the Bencos at the Neon Sign Museum, and it was well attended. Mark Kendrick played Christmas music on a keyboard. wonderful snacks. Anyhow, it was very fun. And then we gave sleigh rides. And this year we've done sleigh rides several times. And it's amazing. We had adults this year want to go, not with their kids. I mean, adults came up and asked if they could ride on the sleigh, which is kind of cool. Anyhow, that's it.
Sounds good, Mike. Thanks. How about Lee Weinstein? Welcome, Lee.
Good morning. Nice to be here. Just quickly mention the president of Q Life. We're still waiting to learn about federal grant monies and if they've been approved. There are a number of states that have had them approved, but still about, I think, 40 or so outstanding. Also on the board of Oregon Public Broadcasting, we have a fabulous new president and CEO. We have been able to luckily raise the money ourselves that the federal government cut about a $5 million hole. So OPB is proceeding ahead through some difficult waters, but really terrific new leader.
That's good information. Good news, Lee. Thank you and congratulations on filling that.
Yep.
That's been frustrating for so many. Salvador Torres. Salvador, I think you are muted, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. There we go.
Perfect. I had to switch the mic thing. My name's Salvador. I work for Columbia Cascade Housing. I am actually here to replace Dave Peters since he's on his way out. He's trying to retire already, but we're trying to keep him on as long as we can. We have a lot of things that are in play, but I'll let Dave finish up what it is that he was talking about previously last week.
All right, Salvador. Thank you. Segue to Dave Peters then.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Dave Peters. Yeah, I'm gonna be here through the end of the year, which I guess is now. One more meeting maybe, and I might continue on a little bit part-time here at work. I've been here over 29 years, so I've been here a while. Karen Long is going to be giving a really good update next week, so I think she's my boss, the executive director, so I think I'll let her speak next week. But we're working on the big project in Hood River, Mariposa Village. We're working on a little bit further back in the development, but still going forward. We have all the funding here in the Dalles, DeHart's Market on Chenoweth. That's going to be about 76 units, 70 or 76. And Salvador and I and Liz, my replacement, are working on Community Land Trust, trying to get that developed here in the Dalles and in Carson to start with. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Vesta Smith.
Good morning. I am retired and like to come to this meeting to find out what's going on in our community. But I can share with you today that the Adventist Health Foundation is having their annual Festival of Trees Friday evening, so at the Civic Auditorium. And I think tickets are still available or at the door. Thanks.
All right. And please feel free to put information in the chat box, Vesta, and everyone here.
Thank
Great.
you.
Councilor Randall.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning. Scott Randall, Dallas City Council. Next upcoming meeting is going to be on the 8th, next Monday, where we'll be considering adopting a general ordinance, amending the code, specifically dealing with dog control. And that's my update.
All right. Thank you, Councilor. Commissioner Brady.
Good morning, Phil Brady, Wasco County Commissioner. I've been in conferences the last 2 weeks. Last week was our Association of Oregon Counties in Eugene with all county commissioners from across the state. And this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Wasco and Sherman counties, Gillum as well, hosted 40 commissioners from across the United States coming to our region to learn about renewable energy and data centers and everything involved in that. One of the big takeaways I had is people were asking, how do you manage this stuff if you don't have land use ordinances? And the answer is, well, you got to get them. So I'm grateful that Oregon, even though we complain about our land use policies, it's a base to start things on. The tree it's a contest. Each department in the county decorates a small tree. It's playful, it's fun. You can go in the main first floor, well, the main floor of the courthouse and see the trees. It becomes tough for us commissioners to judge which is the most interesting because each department tries to outdo the others. I want to bring up another issue that's longstanding. I'll see if I can get an article on it. At the annex, MCAC uses a policy that's called Housing First, and that's being opposed by federal government, which was requiring agencies to a different policy called Housing Ready. Housing Ready is basically on the idea that it's a waste of money to give people housing if they aren't already overcome their problems and have a job, etc. Housing First, based on a policy, is people can't overcome their mental and drug addiction policies if they're still on the street. The problems accumulate in their minds, in their bodies, faster than we can solve them. So putting people in a sheltered place like the annex enables people to get to a place where they can become stable and have housing. So the federal government is not only cutting funds, but requiring agencies to use Housing First. Housing Ready policy. We're going from what's working to what's not working. State of Oregon and other states are filing a lawsuit to try to block that, and we'll hope that that's successful. I'll try and find an article to describe that and put it in the chat.
Love to see that. That's good information, Phil. Please keep us posted on that one. And I'm assuming our folks from Housing Authority, or I know they're tracking that closely as well. But
it affects MCAC more than Housing Authority. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you, Phil. Tanya Brumley, Northwest Natural.
Good morning. So Tanya Brumley with Northwest Natural here in the Gorge, and a couple of activities that are coming up Saturday. If you're not already aware, the Balch Hotel ownership has changed. So there is a ribbon cutting that's taking place through the chamber on Saturday. There's a lot of festivities that the chamber has been posting about markets and things of that nature, holiday markets. But I just wanted to share Helping Hands, which is the program that helps Salvation Army and St. Vincent de Paul during the holidays. Their last Wednesday for collection is next week. And so that's in front of Salvation Army, the old Salvation Army, not the one across from the radio station on 3rd. So if you have any food, toys, or coats, mittens, hats, they're collecting all of those items. And then they're going to work to get those dispersed, I think about 10 days after that, to the families here that have applied through the Salvation Army and St. Vincent de Paul programs.
Good service. Thank you, Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Scott McKay.
Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Scott McKay. I am since beginning of September, I'm a volunteer for Circles of Care. It's still in kind of hiatus. All the volunteers are still supporting those older adults that they've been matched with, such as Mike. Thank Mike for being a volunteer for Circles of Care. But the other hat I wear is I'm involved with the Dementia Friendly Wasco County Partnership Initiative here in Wasco County. And we have 3 focuses. They are education about dementia, trying to reduce the stigma that often comes with living with dementia, provide support for particularly the caregivers, and to provide respite care. And as Corliss knows, we have the respite care program is starting up at the Mid-Columbia Senior Center. And so it's exciting to have that resource now in the Dalles. As far as support, we're having our 4th Memory Cafe this Saturday at the St. Vincent's Ministry Building there on Pentland. And it's an opportunity for someone living with dementia and their caregiver to come to, basically as an opportunity just to get together and socialize and do some activities, enjoy each other's company. And that's from 1 o'clock till around 2:30 on this Saturday. If you know of anyone who's living with dementia and their care partner, this is not a respite program. This is an opportunity for both to come and visit with other folks. just, contact me and I'll provide more information and get you signed up. So thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Scott. Scott, please put your contact information in chat. I see that Phil added a link to the Housing First model. Phil, thank you for doing that. And Scott, I see that we got some good coverage in the paper front page on the dementia program this week. So very crucial, very crucial. Jacob Anderson. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Renard. Jacob, take it away.
Good morning. This is Jacob Anderson, Economic Development Officer with the City of the Dells. So that Jeff has time, I'll just talk about one thing, and that is that the city got a grant that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but there is going to be an event on December 16th at noon at Spookies for anyone who would like to come and find out more information about the grant we received. It has to do with the Federal Street Plaza.
Really? What was that date again? 16th?
December 16th at noon.
It's a mystery. We'll find out. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Before I turn it over to Jeff, I'll wear one other hat here on the board of One Community Health, celebrating its 40th anniversary next year. Many remember it as La Clínica del Cariño. So I'll be coming up with brief updates on that one going forward. But look for details, including formation of a foundation for One Community Health. That's coming together now. And with that, Mr. Jeff Renard, take it away, sir. And if needed, I've got your slides here. Thank you for sending, but I'll make you the co-host right now.
Okay. And I'll be able to change the slides then?
You will.
Okay.
There you go.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me and getting an update on the airport. I was trying to remember what role I had when I was in this group previously, but I don't recall. It's been many, many years. And I don't find... Where do I find the slide deck, Dan?
Right down at screen share, that green button at the bottom. If you have your slide deck open, when you hit that green button, it should show, we should be able to see your screen.
Dan, I think he's on his phone. You might have to run the slide deck.
Ah, okay.
Why don't we do that?
Why don't we do that? I'm going to get back over. Hang on just a second here.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I've got too many things open on my screen now, so I've got to get back over here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I will say that I've been over at the airport as the airport manager since 2021. I was there previously with the FBO.
Jeff, I've got it now. I've got it now.
Okay.
So
I guess just start and I'll say next.
Okay. And I just have to follow my own advice here and do a screen share. And then I have to get back over to the right screen here, which is right there. Okay, can everybody see the PowerPoint,
Yes.
opening PowerPoint there? All right. And if someone will remind me, please, how to go to a full slide share instead of having the
I think you click slideshow in the upper right.
slideshow in the upper right. Ha! Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Showing my ignorance. All right, take it away, Jeff.
All right. As I was saying, I'm the airport manager. I've been over there since 2021 as the airport manager. Previously with TAC Aero, the FBO. Started in aviation in 2016, so this is a new chapter after a lot of automotive in my life. This is a slide deck that I share with the city does a local government academy just to bring citizens in and show them what a city councilor does, what an airport board commissioner does, what kind of walks everybody through the different categories in the Dalles. And this was the slide deck that we put together. This was a pretty exciting day at the airport when we had two, those are C-130s, and the Air Force was in doing a training, and the first one broke down, and they brought the second one in for parts. And Dan, if you hit the next slide.
And Jeff, if people have questions as we go through, would you like them to hold questions or
No,
take them now?
please raise their hand or ask, or just interrupt me would probably be easier because I'm not super techy on finding how to see their hand.
Okay, and please go ahead and ask. I'm not able to see the chat box right now, so people feel free to jump in. Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. This is a pictures of the airport from 1940, kind of where we started, and it's changed dramatically over the years. And if you haven't been over there in a while, please come see me. I'm always happy to give tours and show what all the activity's been going on. Next. We also have this legislation, thanks to Dan and many, many hours of researching when he was in the city's EDO position. We have acquired all these documents that speak to the history of a federally recognized Oregon airport in the state of Washington. It was a very unique situation back when this airport was handed off to the city of the Dalles, and we've gone through many iterations since then. But it's pretty interesting read to see how this process has worked since the 40s. Next.
Same legislation was passed by the Oregon legislature, and my appreciation to the law librarians of both legislatures, Salem and Olympia, for tracking down that information. Librarians, go. All right, Jeff.
Just some details on the airport. I do see that Google Earth has now put out a much more, a very current Google Earth photo. So I'll be updating this slide for next year's packet the next time. But just some details on the airport. What we have one runway that's 5,097 feet long and one that's 4,600 feet long. The ironic part, the 725 runway is the one that has our instrument approach on it, and yet it's not our largest runway. But we do take some very big jets that come in, and we'll use the approach to the 25 runway, and then once they have a visual on the airport, circle and use 31 because of the length. So next. We currently have the Phase 2 Business Park, which is a Klickitat County EDA project. Pretty well underway. The business park lots have been developed, the roads have been paved, the streetlights are in, and I believe they went to bid yesterday for building the future college hangar building. So I believe we're going to have that on the street for about 30 days, and then should be doing a bid opening the first week of January, and see where we're at for getting a new college building up and housing the students over at the airport instead of in the business park in the Dalles.
Jeff, I'm hearing some rumors of more competitive construction environment now too. So let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, things seem to be trending in the favor of getting stuff done. And just some pictures of what kind of goes on at the airport on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. I mean, there's everything from the fire operations to the, like I say, with the C-130s there, and the top middle is the life flight fixed wing aircraft, and we don't seem to go a week without having a number of jets on the ramp for whether it be commercial business or a lot of recreation going on that people are traveling via their either charter or private jet.
Jeff, what is that fire boss doing in the lower center?
Training. If they're typically here 75 days through the summer. If they don't have a fire, they didn't have that problem this year. They have to do proficiency flights, and so I have them just water the grass for us. But they basically have to go out and show the Oregon Department of Forestry, in this case, that they're proficient at what they're doing, and just make sure that all systems are operational.
Thank you, Jeff.
I pick out the right spot for them to put water. Another example of, as we're working forward, the airport is presently in a Um, we're developing our master plan for the next 10 years. And some of the things that have changed from the previous master plan of 2010 uh, is this. The number of jets that we have on this airport at any given moment has changed dramatically. This didn't used to be a huge jet center, and now it's nothing to have 2 to 3 jets out here at one time. And as you can see by the one coming at us, he's his wingtips are over the top of the taxiways. I mean, it's a greater size jet than our airport was originally designed for, which is pretty awesome to see. We have the surfaces to maintain them and hold them, but we just have to starting to plan ahead for future development and making sure that we have the capacity, wing widths, and just be prepared for these Gulfstream 5s in that case. So, next.
Uh-oh. Some sort of an issue here. Uh-oh, sorry. There we go. Is that the right one, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's just we subscribe to a motion info service. It's similar to a maritime tracker that they use on the water for boats and whatnot, but this just is a real-time link to what's going on over our area, and we use it to capture data. The reporting feature in there allows me to gather information on types of helicopters, types of aircraft, who's our most frequent user, what time of day were they making it. Should we end up with a noise complaint, I'm able to look and see who was actually in the air, and what they were doing. If they're showing up with a transponder on the system. And this is available to the public. It's a free app on your phones. You can look if you are curious about who's flying over. You're easily able to just jump on and look at most aircraft.
Jeff, is that the one where you can actually like point your phone at the plane or something and it will show
No,
the
I've never seen that feature in it. This one is just literally click on one of these aircraft and it'll pop up with what details are available
that
on your
makes sense.
screen.
Okay,
And next,
there you go.
there's an Apache coming in for an approach on 3-1, and it was just we've gotten to know a number of the military teams that come into our airport, and one of the guys sent me a whole bunch of photos when they were doing operations in our area, and I just love this photo. Some of the reporting on the right, the pie charts are the different things that are available through that previous program I spoke of, being able to look at who's using which runway, what type of aircraft they were, all of that, which is great. As we're going into the master plan, I'm able to um, show the trends and show where we're actually headed and where we've come from and where we're headed. Next.
There you go.
Again, just more corporate traffic. This is showing just some of the different days that we'll have. We have a number of people that come in and go out to a local hunting lodge and do a lot of flying and flying into that, and they'll be here for 3 to 5 days and um, recreating and hitting the wineries and doing tourism items around the gorge, and then they get back in their jets and fly home. And it's been quite a boom. Next.
Jeff, I noticed a car there. Do you have cars available for people to fly in?
The FBO has a 1 or 2 loaner cars, which are sporadic at best. If it is a busy day, then they're typically out. But the uh, Enterprise Rent-A-Car does deliver cars to the airport. So it's just a
Good to
matter of
know. Yeah.
a pre-coordination. They'll stage cars there, as well as I believe Gorge Motors has um, an agreement to put rental cars there.
Thank you.
Yep. So this year was definitely a different season for the fire season. I did a presentation for the state of Washington in regards to fire operations because of the number of aircraft that we've housed the last couple of years. This year I had 5 fire boss and the picture to the left has two Bombardier 215s, and we also had two 415s, which are substantially larger than these, and 14 helicopters all in one day. It was it for about 90 days. It's a very, very busy season of just keeping fuel and coordination of everything from the Johnny Pots to the making sure that they have access to cars and just a place to do business. Because we'll have typically 5 to 6 people associated with each aircraft.
Jeff, what type of fuel is available?
We have both 100 low lead, which is the high octane gasoline, and then Jet A. And that was in 2020, as I was there as the FBO manager, we worked real hard to get we've got an additional 24,000 gallons of jet fuel available on the field now. So we have a bulk system that has allowed us to have these bigger super scoopers, the yellow ones in the back of the picture. In 2019, I had them there fueling, and the airport didn't have enough fuel to sustain them, and we lost them to Eugene because they had the fuel and the ramp space to put them, and that became an immediate need that I set forth on working with the previous airport manager to tackle, and we did, and it has been a great success because our relationship with our fuel supplier and having the bulk storage has changed our region dramatically, and I can't say enough good about having the space and the fuel to serve the public with the fire assets. I mean, we can right now, most of these assets are, if they see smoke, they can fly, which speeds up our losses as far as not losing ground to the fire.
Jeff,
Next
how large a geographic region is covered by these teams in the summer?
I've had the fire boss guys, they've been dispatched as far just almost to Medford and all the way to the Canadian border. The Dalles, we sit right in the middle of Region 6 Fire District. And so we're having inquiry from everybody from Bureau of Indian Affairs, BLM. We have people that want to put additional fire bases at our airport just because of our regional ability. And we have this great big water runway out here that they can take advantage of and be at the speeds that they fly, they can be down to Lake Billy Chinook in a half hour and fighting fire. They were dispatched on a number of fires in that region this summer, and then clear. I know they were up at Okanagan on a couple. The helicopters are a little closer. They're more of a initial attack, and excuse me, they being the fire boss aircraft are more of an initial attack. They'll go out and get it hopefully under control, and then the helicopters and whatnot will continue to really knock it down unless we have long sustained fires like we had this summer.
Okay.
Next.
Jeff.
Yep. This was on the previous closed runway that we had out there. Part of that is now not there. The business park is being built through this section of the airport. So I had to get a little bit more creative this year as to where we put all the helicopters. Last year we had 17 helicopters on the airport along with all the fixed wing. So it was a very busy season, and it is a good revenue generation for the airport. We do charge a land use agreement and a fuel flowage fee to each of these aircraft. If they're not buying fuel from us, then they get to pay a 10 cent a gallon flowage fee for the privilege of flowing their fuel on our airport. So it's been a definite revenue generation for the airport. Next.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, just more. I think I may have gotten these out of order, but just some of the projects we've had going on. We did the South Apron rehab and taxiway project. We got 5 new taxiways adjacent to the little green picture on the right shows where the new taxiways are, and we've had 3 hangars built adjacent that new blacktop now, and two more that we just awarded the contract to build two publicly owned T-hangar rows. So we'll have 38 new spaces on the airport for aircraft. I have about 35 people on a waiting list now. And I know there's people out there that just with a list that long haven't even bothered to get on the airport waiting list because it's a little daunting that it takes that long to get a house for your airplane. We put in a new fuel apron, so we'll be transitioning from our 27-year-old in-ground fuel system to an above-ground fuel system. Typically, those in-ground systems have about a 30-year life, and I kind of wanted to be proactive in having them out of the ground prior to having any issues. And then working with FEMA and OEM last year, we were able to get some good inroads as far as having funding to get those tanks out of the ground. So I'll be working on that more this year. And a number of different, I kind of touched on some of this already. Got a project that'll be going out to bid here in the next week for putting an 8-inch water line through all the way through the airport to the new business park area, for future development and making sure that we've got proper fire suppression throughout the airport. Next. Just more pretty pictures. Lots of different aircraft.
Jeff, did I miss a slide back there?
I'm not sure because I don't have it pulled up. I don't think so, but I think I may have just gotten that one out of order.
Okay, I think we covered it. Great. There we go.
Yep. And again, just more, I'm really working towards creating I tell all the fire crews that come in, and I quiz them as to what it is that we can do better as an airport and how do we continue to have them here, because I just feel like it's very, very important to our region to have this instant response when we do have the issues. Somebody in their wisdom at Oregon Department of Forestry called the fire boss. They actually started their contract, I believe, 3 weeks early this year. And had they not been here, our Rowena fire could have been much, much worse, which is hard to imagine. But they were here to start fighting fire. So I'm very thankful to have them as fast as they can get here. And if we could figure out how to put the hangars and the facilities here that we had somebody that was a permanent tenant at our airport, I think that would be a fantastic effort for any of us to start working on.
Jeff, you had mentioned fuel capacity looking forward 5-10 years from now. Is that going to be a continuing issue? Do you have enough capacity now for the near future, or what are you thinking?
We would definitely, I am exploring adding additional fuel capacity for the jet. A number of the things that will be looked at in the master plan are things like having the grid available for the electrification in the UAS market. There's a huge push from that. Oregon Department of Aviation has spent a number of days chatting and just walking through scenarios for the DALs. We are a Oregon airport in the state of Washington, so we have some unique issues with the state of Oregon assisting with the fuel or transportation. The state of Oregon Department of Aviation wants to store fuel. They want a bulk fuel farm someplace out here. Crossing the state line with the fuel into Washington from an Oregon standpoint has caused a little bit of unique taxing issue for a bulk fuel storage. And so we're trying to navigate some of that right now. But yes, we definitely need more fuel. I would love to have about 50,000 gallons on the airport. And that's been kind of the request from the Oregon Department of Aviation. And I've started those conversations with the state of Washington as well. Next.
Did that work?
Yeah, I think so.
It rotated. Should I hit another one?
Yeah, hit it again.
I'll try it one more time here.
Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on here.
Now let's go to the next one. There must have been something pretty cool there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just a picture of, I'd say, preseason project. We had the area that looks like a high school track kind of out there. That is where the new T hangars and taxiways have been built. Again, Google Earth has a fantastic photo right now of that area. And then the runway to your left is where the new business park comes up through there, and the college building will be pretty much facing the furthest south building, the one closest to the river. Um, yep, a little further to the north, Dan, and you'll be there. Yep,
Somewhere in
and then towards Hood Arrows buildings. Nope, it'll be adjacent that other tack. Yep, over in that area
here. Okay.
is where we'll have the future college hangar. Next. There's the new taxiways. The building in the back of the picture that's where Life Flight is at, and half of that is Life Flight, and half of that is a flex space that we rent out. This was a great project, 3.4 million from the FAA, and to put in the 5 taxiways and the rehab the south apron next to the FBO. This will generate putting in these new hangars is going to generate about $96,000 a year in revenue for the airport. One of the challenges that was put in front of me when I took this position was to try to make the airport self-sustaining. And each day that I can do a revenue generating project, we get just a little bit closer. And I still feel like that inside of the next 24 months, we will make the airport self-sustaining. It's a work in progress.
Be a fantastic milestone, so we can envision T hangars along each of these.
Correct.
Taxiways.
Each of those grass spaces will have a hangar built that we've got a completion date of August 31st of 2026. So those will be ready for occupancy at the end of August. And then the wider space to the right, that's private development right now. There's 2 hangars there that have already been built, and they are just about to they're actually putting the electrical in today, and those will be ready for occupancy here in the next week or so.
Fantastic. Good work,
Next.
Jeff.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. There's a little better perspective on what we're doing in that area. And you can see the fresh blacktop of what happened this year. We rehabbed the south apron. We also created the fuel apron, which is the one across near the segmented circle. That's where our above ground fuel farm will be going forward. And then you can see a building being built on the furthest south side of the new taxiways as well. That was a 60 by 120 foot hangar that a private developer built as well. So we've had a few $1 million invested privately over the last year and a half at the airport. Next. And again, some of these slides were stuff that I presented as I was showing the projects and trying to get the funding for these different building the T hangars. So excuse the language on them. And then this was again just showing the public what it is that's gone on. I couldn't help but capture that picture one day. I was out checking a runway light with my pickup and had to stop and get the mountain in the background. And that's our 1970s dump truck that we've been plowing snow with for many, many years. And I'm happy to say this year I was able to, through one of my conferences I went to, meet a airport manager from the King County Airport and was able to acquire 2 pieces of equipment for snow removal through their surplus process. And we got about $500,000 worth of product of snowplow and broom that we got them for $8,000 plus the shipping. So
nice.
Roger came over and took some pictures last week, and I think he's putting those pictures someplace where the public will see them soon.
They'll be in the Rurlight for January.
Oh, okay.
Looking forward to that article, Roger. Fantastic. Good work, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because it's an 8-foot blade on my pickup and a 12-foot blade on that dump truck, and the new both the broom and the um, snowplow that we have are 22 and 24 feet wide. So it will change. I'll be able to open one runway and have life flight ready to fly, able to fly in less than an hour now, instead of the 8 hour day that it took to do the airport previous.
What's a broom?
Like a street sweeper, like the you see the very similar to it's just a great big 22-foot wide reel that stands about 4 feet tall, and or a brush on the front of a great big piece of equipment. If you want to see them, they're sitting in my parking lot at the airport right now. We're prepping everything for if we get snow.
So that could be like your first attack on the snow, the broom, and then you follow with the blade, or how does that work?
Yeah, according to King County, if I'm first attack is at the right time, the broom on the front moves the snow to the sides, and then behind that on the back of the truck, this truck is huge. It has two giant diesel engines on it. One drives the broom and two blowers that will continue to blow their 200-mile-an-hour wind generation that blows the snow off the runway after you broom it to the side. Um, so they said that I probably will never need to use the plow if I use the broom correctly.
Wow. Okay.
So it's all a learning curve to me because I haven't done it yet. But
Cool. Well, let's see
I've
what
never
the
been
weather
excited
holds.
about snow at the airport because it's always so much work. But I'm kind of excited to have a first snow this year.
Bet
So
you are.
Jeff, after the snow melts, then the vegetation grows. Well, how do you manage your vegetation management program?
A lot of mowing. I did have shear spraying come in and put a pre-emergent over areas that didn't need to be that we don't have time to maintain. The airport's we have 990 acres of property at the airport. The entire property. I have about 120 acres of infield and areas that I maintain. Um, we were able to this last year purchase uh, a batwing mower, one of the great big. It's a 20-foot wide mower where we were mowing at 8 feet. Now we're probably 18 feet wide in our mowing capabilities behind a tractor. And then I just learned from King County as well. They have a tractor and a mower up there that I inquired about purchasing through their surplus, and they contacted me and said they just donated it to us for $1.
Oh,
So we will have two tractors, and thus far it's been, other than the goat heads, has been probably my biggest challenge. We've been able to stay ahead of it. I just keep having to pull. I mean, this last year we pulled two pickup loads of goat heads off the edges of the runway, and the taxiways. Just my wife and I did. She wasn't real pleased with me. Um,
yeah.
but now it's just a matter of staying ahead of it. I try to keep pre-emergent along the edges of all the runways to where we just don't even have anything grow back. And then all the interior surfaces we mow. And I did have
Yeah.
a lot of mowing this year just because I didn't have the closed runway any longer, so I had to have places to put the helicopters.
From my mountain bike experience, seems like the Dallas-Fort area has a lot of trouble with skeleton weed as well.
They do, and that was my reason for hiring shear spraying to hit the pre-emergent last year. Um, I felt like there was it was a win in a lot of areas, and some of the areas I didn't feel like we had much effect, but it's a continued exercise. I work with the weed master in Clickitat County, as well as we've got a couple of farmers that are tenants at the airport who have a lot of knowledge on trying to beat the skeleton weed.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is. It's a difficult weed. And as soon as it breaks loose here, it ends up in Sherman County with the wind. Next, Dan. Just some of the people. Again, I work, I'm not an employee of the city of the Dalles. I own Aviation Management Services, and we are a contract airport manager that manages both the Dalles and Hood River airports. Um, and I think that's it down to questions. I think there's one more slide. And just some fun. an early morning at the airport. There might be one more, Dan, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, that's us.
There you go. There you go. Jeff, we have Lee and Jacob on the line too. Q Life. Is there any discussion? I know we've kind of explored the idea of bringing fiber optic over the bridge and serving the airport. Where are we on that one?
That's a good question for Matthew Klebs, or Liz Lance of Q Life. I'm not quite sure. It is something we would love to complete and get fiber there.
Okay.
I know I know that Matthew had been talking with ODOT about getting across the bridge, and I don't know where that ended. I know there is some fiber being put in over there, but not through Q Life.
Yep.
We are still working on getting that fiber across there. ODOT cannot adequately value the cost of the line that goes across there that we'd be putting it in. And so we're kind of in a holding pattern until Q Life gives us a cost. And that's been over a year.
Okay, I'll follow up.
Okay. And then Jeff, you might have mentioned it earlier, but governance for the airport. How does that work?
We started out in the original, it was an Oregon airport in the state of Washington, owned by the city of the Dalles. In 1998, when the Dalles was in a little different position financially, there was talk of closing the airport down. And by the time we got around to 2002, there was a vote with city council, and one deciding vote allowed the airport to continue, but under a new joint operating agreement with Klickitat County. So now we are co-owned. Each square foot is 50% owned by Klickitat County and by the city of the Dalles. It makes for a fantastic opportunity for me to work with not only the federal government, but both states. But it is also a fairly heavy lift of when I need to get a project through or get approval to do one of those projects. I am chasing between Goldendale, the Dalles, the feds. It takes a lot of signatures and a lot of coordination with legal teams and county commissioners and city councilors to make sure that we've got the projects that we have going. It's very unique. It would be much simpler in a single business model similar to Q Life.
And you have an advisory commission appointed by the city and by the county?
Correct. We have representatives from both sides that are on a advisory committee, and then I have folks like yourself and now Jacob in the EDO role that assist me with. Klickitat County also has Richard Foster in their EDO role, and trying to work with that to get businesses into our business park.
Right.
Jeff, you were talking about Google Earth, so I went there and I dropped an image into the chat of the southwest runway, looking like in construction happening there. Is that out of date photo?
Hang on, I'm trying to pull it
up.
There it goes. It's in your chat.
Yeah, that is the new business park. That the roads that you can see laid out in there through the tan dirt. Those are paved now. And then someplace about where the crossroad is at that runs east and west ish is where
Bill, I made you co-host. Bill, you're co-host if you want to share your screen.
Okay.
Get a bigger view of that. There you go.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
So does the runway terminate there at the tan dirt?
It does now. That was a closed runway. It was a decommissioned runway. That is where we've been using the blacktop for doing our fire operations, and then doing everything from the rodeos that have happened over there. The drag races used to happen on that piece of property, on that blacktop. We're still having, even on the little bit that we have, Klickitat County Sheriff's Office is over there doing training yesterday and today. We have Gresham Gresham Police Department and a number of different state agencies come and use any available blacktop for doing their training and whatnot. And that's something that, as we continue to lose this stretch of blacktop all the way up to the taxiway in the future, that's something that we need to replace. I mean, it's high on my target of things that we need to have a piece of blacktop that we can do these stage our aircraft, have a place to train, have an event center, for lack of better. Who knows what people want to come to town and spend money to do, but every bit of it drives that tourism dollar.
Jeff, you had mentioned 900 acres at the airport. You've got considerable land that could be industrial build out.
It can, as long as the FAA agrees. Under the 2024 Reauthorization Act, everything, if it was acquired through, I'll let everybody read that, but it's an interesting read. The FAA has they're the ultimate say of what happens on the airport property now. As far as there won't be any disposal of it, you can't sell it, and everything is with the change in aviation, with all this vertical takeoff and landing aspects and the UAS products. Even the unflat ground that we have still has an opportunity to become aviation, because these little helicopters and personal aircraft don't necessarily need a runway. They need a place for a charging station and a hangar. And so we can take advantage of different pieces of property. And that's some of what our master plan and our consultants are looking at, is what's the future of aviation? I mean, if we look backwards 100 years, what was aviation 100 years ago? What's it going to be in the next 20 to 50 years? It's
Indeed.
moving extremely fast right now.
Jeff, we are coming up on the hour here. Other questions for Jeff? Jeff, I really appreciate you taking the time to put all this together and all of your fantastic work there, taking the initiative to go out and get the support of Seattle Airport, SeaTac, and so many others. That takes a lot of politics and a lot of hard work. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir. Please come, everybody come see me. If you have an opportunity, my cell phone's on the door over there, or just give a call and come over to the airport and one of us will give you a tour. That way you know what the asset we have in our community is.
Cool. Well, I'm going to do a few announcements for the chamber before we close up. Well, earlier there was mention of some of the holiday markets and bazaars coming up. If you don't receive the Community Connector email from the chamber, please get in touch and get on that listserv. You'll see the Holiday Artisan Market at the Dalles Arts Center coming up on the 20th. Mosier Holiday Bazaar, December 6 to 7. Dallesport Christmas Bazaar, December 5 to 7. Festival of Trees, of course, coming up 6 p.m. Friday. Live auction 7 p.m. and community open house Saturday from 9 to noon. Due for Hometown Christmas. Tonya mentioned that one, December 13th. Separately, a ribbon cutting at the historic Balch Hotel is December 6th. I think, Tonya, you mentioned that one earlier, too. Welcoming new owner Christina Engel. And Ladies' Night, Sawyer's Ace Hardware, first Friday of 2025, December 5th, historic downtown the Dalles, starting at 5 p.m. So check out the Community Connector for these and many, many other events. It's a busy bazaar season, of course, with Christmas coming right up. With that one, our guest next week on the 11th is going to be Karen Long from Mid-Columbia Housing Authority. Update on all activities there. So thank you for joining us this morning, and have a good rest of your week on behalf of the Chamber. Thank you all.